welcome back to another episode of Tea Time. I'm Trinity.
I'm Cameron.
And it's been a while.
It's been a minute and I'm excited to be back.
I know, I missed it so much.
I missed it severely, but we took some time, it was like back and it was just like a whole lot of festivities and we've been going through a lot of changes.
Lots of changes, lots of different things happening this year, which we'll dive into soon.
Things.
But you know what, we're back. We're better than ever.
We're back and
feeling refreshed, feeling refined.
I feel like we're in a really new chapter and it's exciting to see the way the Lord is going to move.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited, and the whole reason why we're speaking about changes because there's lots of things that have happened in our lives this past couple of months, and today's episode is all about trusting in God's timing, trusting His plan. We always have our own preconceived ideas.
Just trusting Him in all circumstances.
Exactly, through everything, and we just want to share our experience.
We kind of created this pod so that we could be real and use what God is doing in our lives so that we could encourage those around us. And so,
and like more importantly, speak about what we're going through and how it's hopefully going to help someone and impact someone else. But the whole reason that we're changing things up is because I have decided to do my honors online this year. So that means that I would be moving back to Durban. And it's something that came so quickly. It just happened like very suddenly. Not a part of my plan that I had, but something that I really had to realize that it's not about my plan.
No, it's
and obviously it's a bittersweet moment because yes, I'll be moving back home and there's always joys coming with that, but I mean we built a life here.
And it's just it's sad. I feel like extremely I don't feel sad about it because I know that God has a plan for both of us and He has a plan especially for Trinity's career, and at the end of the day wherever the Lord guides He provides.
Exactly.
And it's just trusting in His divine timing and plan.
Exactly.
And it's going to be a bit different for tea time.
Definitely.
Obviously.
We'll change up the way things are going, but I mean, change is good.
Change is good.
Yeah, we're going to make it work, and this is something that we really feel has been God ordained, and whatever God has joined together, no one can separate. So we're excited for the new times. We're excited to see how God's going to take us through this year, but something we really wanted to talk about because I know personally for me, I've felt so defeated whenever these changes came about. My first instinct was always to see the bad in everything and to focus on the now and oh my gosh, why is this happening to my life, but God sees the bigger picture.
I've also been in these situations with my degree especially where it's you can't really see what the Lord is doing. It's kind of just and people use this term in a bit of a cliche way, but letting go, letting God.
It's easier said than done.
It really is easier said than done because there's so much of anxiety when you genuinely leave it to God. But I think just trusting that at the end of the day, His plan is to prosper you. But I know the plans I have for you declares the Lord. He knows them. And so we're going to dive into some aspects of literally just trusting in God's divine timing and His divine plan.
What it means, how to do it.
And we're coming from a place of sincerity in the fact that we don't know what the Lord is going to do. And you're not going to see that final product from where you're standing right now. It's covered in fog and only the Lord knows, but that's when your faith is tested. It's you choose to serve this almighty God, but in times of trial and tribulation, when things aren't going your way, can you really trust that this God has your back?
And that's what trust and faith is about. You going into something not knowing what the outcome is, but you trust that it's going to be good. And it's really difficult from a human perspective because we always think of the negative, we always think of the bad things, but with even Proverbs 3 verse 5 when it says trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. But when you actually in that situation, it's so difficult to not lean on your own understanding.
Because how do you feel right now? Now, because Trina's pack up and stuff, and it's a whole process, and I know every time I think about it I literally want to just cry.
We have our conversations where we talk about because
where we crash out
but you know what, I feel at the beginning I felt very uncertain. I was like, I was questioning God, which was a really bad thing, but I was like, God, why is this happening to me? Like, you know, I had this plan of doing my honors here, working here, like, you know, everything was supposed to happen, like, you know, but that's the thing. And in Proverbs 16:9, it says, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps.
That's true.
And that's something that I've really been tested on, because even at the end of high school, I had, you know what, do my 3 years, do my honors, do my thing, like continue with work and get this like CA qualification. But that was my plan.
That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we're so rigid in our plans that there's no space for God.
Exactly.
And you know, it's like, you know, do this, like finish school, finish campus, start your internship. It's like
everything is set, according to the world.
God is like, but when did I say that that's what I wanted?
Exactly.
Like, you know. And I feel like we forget that He's already planned out your life, and you're out here planning out your entire life. And it's like, no, you need to surrender. And that's the hardest part. Like, you know, when you say you're surrendering everything to God, but are you actually leaving it to Him?
That's
you know,
so
and not in anxiety or fear, but leaving it in
peace.
To Him in peace. Like, you know, peace that surpasses all human understanding. He gives you that if you're choosing to be at rest in what He's doing.
No, 100%. And you know, like, you will start, there's something that I had to change was like the way I prayed as well, because whenever I went to God, I was like, you know what, God, help me, like, pass this, help me do this, help me. But I never prayed, God, what is your plan for my life? It was always, God, help me get into this university, help me get this job. But I never prayed about, God, let your will be done in my life.
It's like, sometimes we think that the delays are denials, but the delays are not denials. The Lord is not denying you of something good. He's delaying you for a reason. It's like, it's not a setback necessarily. It's like God is opening up a different path for you, a different way, a redirection, so that you get to where He wants you to be by doing what He wants you to do. There's so many people, like, I think about how you are able to now impact and encourage so many people going through the same thing as you, or like, you know, people younger than you, because you have gone through this now. So you get to go to where you wanted to be, or where 100%. God wants you to be, but you helped so many other people along the way, and you learned so much.
And like, just the whole thing about us being so rigid in our thinking and only seeing things for how it is now, but God sees the bigger picture. He sees that, like, while we think that there's no way out, there's no way through, like, this was one way, and now if I'm not going here, my life is ruined. But He redirects you so that you can focus your thoughts and your mind on something greater that He has in store for you. Not everything is meant for you to like, you know, fail. He's never setting you up for failure.
There's like, I always think things could either go your way, where God is not completely in it, and it's not necessarily what God wants, and it could be okay.
Exactly.
Or it could go the way God wants it to go, where at first you're sad because, you know, you didn't get this job, or you didn't get this get into your honors kind of thing, or like, you know, it just didn't go exactly as your plan. But if it goes God's way, how much better, how much greater is the reward in knowing that you're doing something for Christ. His plan is to prosper you. Your plan is not going to be as excellent or as fulfilling as what He has in store. So I think when you come to that realization that, like, you know what, God's ways are much better than ours, much higher. He comes from a higher position than us. He is God, like, you know. So just reevaluating and refocusing it, like, you know, seeing from a different perspective, it really helps, I guess.
No, definitely. And the thing you said about, like, delay not being denial, and that's so true, because, like, I always was like, I need to be at a certain point, at an age in my life, I need it. But, like, I really had to learn that delay is not denial, because God takes time to prepare you. And that's something that's, like, so important, is like this waiting period. Like, you know, like, you don't really know what's going on, but you have to surrender yourself. And during that time, when, like, I know when I was waiting for my results and, like, waiting to hear from different colleges, like, that waiting literally made me feel so, like, uncomfortable. It made me so frustrated.
It's a fearful time.
It's very scary being in a position where you don't know what's going to happen. But the only thing that I can encourage people is to worship while you wait. Like, during the and it was so, like, amazing that the time during my results were coming out, we had a fasting and prayer at church, and it was just so fulfilling to, like, focus my thoughts, and, like, I felt like the Lord was telling me, you know what, take this time during the waiting to pursue me, to pursue the word, to pursue what you need to do next.
True. I feel like it's important to remember that God is an all-consuming fire. And in that sense, you need to let him consume every aspect of you. Sometimes, like, in these situations, there's so much going on through our minds. There's so much noise. Sometimes you have to silence it out in order to be able to hear the voice of God, because it's not necessarily that he's not speaking to you. It's that you can't hear him because you're focusing on every other noise around you. So let God consume you, just like a fire, and burn away everything that's not of him, and just see him work. Because as you were saying, like, God's timing is perfect, and Ecclesiastes speaks about how, like, God makes everything beautiful in its time. There's a time for everything, a season for everything, and it's just like, are you allowing that a season to approach you, or you to enter that season?
And like you were speaking about, like, the different noises around you. I mean, like, your family, your friends could be influencing your decisions. Like, but you have to take that time, and you have to go and say, Lord, this is my life. I need you to direct me. I need your voice to be heard. Like, your parents will give you, like, certain direction, certain guidance and wisdom, but at the end of the day, it will always be the Lord's plan. And the most assuring thing that you can do is to go and seek his word and find out what his plan is for your life. And that's, I think, the most peace that you'll ever get.
I think especially, like, I forget that we're, like, getting older. And it's like, as much as you want to, yes, you should turn to your parents and seek counsel. You must
godly counsel,
godly counsel. But sometimes the Lord is speaking to you only, and he might not be speaking to your elders or the people around you.
Definitely.
And only you will be able to hear exactly what the Lord wants from you. And that's why you need to, like, as we're getting older, we're youth, and this is like the age where God is refining us, and there's so many things that we have to be responsible for. Like, we're worried about our career, and like, we're worried about our education and everything. We need to be able to listen to God, because the world will tell you so much. It's going to tell you, okay, you didn't get into your honors at this university, that's the end. Like, it's over. Done. But what is God telling you? God is telling you to rest in him, that he has it under control. And surrendering something, it's going to bring you peace.
Definitely.
Like, knowing that you don't have to carry that burden or that dream or hope or aspiration on your own, it's going to bring you peace.
And when you try to do things on your own accord, it will only stress you out even more. It will only bring you down. I remember, like, for a couple days, I was just, like, to myself, and, like, I was in my head, and I just felt like myself being, like, so depressed and so down and so like angry and confused. There was just so much of emotions going on. And then like one day I was just, like, spending time in prayer, and, like, I just remember giving it all to God. I was like, God, whatever decision happens, I know that it's you. I know that I'm in the will, I'm walking in the will, so whatever's meant to happen is because it's your plan. And I think that surrender is so important. I mean, we have our own understanding. We have, like, you can be in your head as much as you want. It'll never get you anywhere. But truly surrendering and saying, God, this is me. Take it all. I mean, have every part of me.
Literally, I feel like we fight so much with God.
Definitely.
And it's like, why are you fighting him when he has equipped you with the full armor of God to fight the world? You're fighting God, and it's like, stop. Like, you're not gonna get anywhere. I did the same thing when it came to, like, the degree that I am finally, like, completing now. It's like, I fought every single way that the Lord wanted me to get here. I looked at every single other option until he was like, no, he closed every single door, and he said, this is what I want for you. I have a plan, and trusting that it's gonna work out. That this is what he wants. It may not be what you want, but trusting that it's gonna prosper you at the end of the day.
No, definitely. And all these trials, all these tribulations, it's to build us. It's to build our strength. It's to build our faith. It's to build our hope. And, like, it's also like a test when you go through something. How is your response? Your response is actually more important than the actual test.
No, definitely.
Because God is testing, like, okay, she says she trusts me. She says that she loves me and she submits to me, but let me throw this challenge at her and see how she reacts. Is she gonna go and, like, crash out? Is she gonna go and, like, find every other way to fill this void, or is she gonna go and meditate and study?
That's the thing. It's easy to trust God when things are going good,
100%.
and I get that. But you need to trust God when things are absolutely like shaking around you.
Yeah.
That's when you really need to be like, God's like, okay, but she's grown spiritually and you know she's reading the word, now can she apply it?
Exactly.
Like, you know, she's writing the word, now she needs to apply it now.
And it is something I know in Romans 5, it always like reminds us of like the suffering that produces perseverance, and character, hope, because that's really what it is all about. You're here on an assignment for God. Every trial and tribulation is gonna provide and pursue like perseverance. It's gonna build you at the end of the day to complete.
I always think about how like God's grace is sufficient for us, and like, you know, His power is made perfect in our weakness. And like sometimes we look at these doors that are closing as like, you know, a weakness or like something bad that's happening to us, but His grace is sufficient for you. Like, you know, His power is made perfect in that weakness. In that door closing, God's power is being made perfect so that you're able to teach others, to show them how God has done something good through what you thought was something bad.
Yes, exactly. That is so important, like turning things around for
what the enemy uses for evil,
he turns it around.
Exactly.
Like you may look at this as, oh my gosh, there's no way out. This is the worst thing that could possibly be happening to me. But God is like, hold on a moment, like there's so many examples in the Bible
hold on.
There's so many examples in the Bible where He's turned such a messy situation into something so like glorious. And
literally
that's why like now as I'm like maturing and getting older, it's like whenever I go through something, I just take like that pause moment and I'm like, God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? How is the good gonna come out of this?
That's true. We're in such a rush.
Always.
It's actually so crazy that we don't have time to just be still, but the Bible teaches us continuously to be still, to wait on God. Wait as in calm down, like chill. Like God literally has got you, but we're in this big time rush.
For no reason.
Because God's timing is perfect. Regardless if you want something now or later, it's only going to happen when God wants it to happen. So I'm not saying like, you know, don't be ambitious, don't want certain things, because I have those ambitions and goals as well. And I want them now, but trust that God's timing is perfect and it will only work out when He wants it to work out. You know?
And it's just like, you know, whatever situation you deem bad, there's always good that's gonna come out of it. And like it's just that active like action of finding out what good can come out of this. Like you need to like rewire your mindset to not focus on like the bad, but to focus on like, you know what good can actually come out of the situation. And like I'll like an example would be like me moving like back home now. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss Cape Town and miss my friends. But I'm like, I get to be back home with my family. I get to spend time with them.
You get to serve more in the ministry.
Everything. There's like big changes that are happening at church, and I get to be there. And it's like it's so like wholesome. God turns things around so that, you know, His kingdom is able to be glorified.
That's why I'm saying, especially as a generation, I know that when there's these setbacks, it's so easy for us to become complacent and to become angry, and like, you know, we want to be rebellious and like, you know, take a step back from God. But when has God ever taken a step back from you? I always think about the concept that God never moves. He stays exactly where He is. He's always close to you. You choose to move further away from God. You need to now draw close. When things don't work out, this is a calling for you to draw closer to God. Don't be angry with Him. Yes,
that's very important.
Upset at first, but do not be upset with God. Just be content in knowing that He is working it out. It's so important to be faithful. You'll never move forward if you are not faithful to God. It's your faith that draws you close to Him.
Exactly.
So
and that is the whole point of challenges, is to strengthen your faith, strengthen your relationship with God. I think that's the most important thing. Whenever you're going through something or like big changes, don't like look everywhere else for like a solution. Focus on your relationship with God, because like He's trying to tell you something. He's trying to show you that, okay, maybe there's a lack in this area, fix this area, and you know, something else will happen divinely. It's always something that's going to build you and gonna strengthen you.
Literally, like if there's one thing like that will be constant, is that everything will change, but Christ is constant.
Exactly.
And
He is your firm foundation. So when you go through shaky grounds, He is there for you.
When you actually build on a foundation of Christ, you will see that nothing will fall.
Exactly.
And everything that does, or every door that closes wasn't supposed to be opened in the first place. No, it wasn't supposed to be a part of the building. So it's trusting. Literally, it's hard and it's easy to say, trust. But literally, leave it to God, because what can you do?
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can do.
There really isn't.
There's a God who can do all things, and then there's you who can do nothing without Him. So literally, it either goes your way or it goes His way. You have to make that decision.
That's so true. And like, just don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Like, don't, whenever there's a challenge or a situation, don't lose hope, because the moment you have this doubt and fear, the enemy is going to come in and try and like persuade you even more that you're not worth it, you're not qualified, you're not able to do, or you're not able to turn your situation around. And all these thoughts of like self-condemnation comes into your head, and it makes you think about all the mistakes you've ever done. And it's like it's a really, the enemy uses your mind to play tricks on you and to feel like you're not worth it.
You are though, and like I always have to like draw it back to the fact that God made you in His image.
Exactly.
And you're telling me that if He made you in the image of an Almighty King, the one and only true and living God, that you're not worth it.
Yeah.
If you are not supposed to be in the honors, I'm using you as an example. You could have studied constantly, not went out, not spoke to anyone. You could have sat in that room and studied the entire year. And I'm not saying that you didn't give it your all, because you did. But you could have done all that you could have. But if God did not want you to be there, then you would not have been there. Like,
exactly.
You know, God will not allow something to be in your life if it's not supposed to be there. You can do everything humanly possible to get into that honors, or to get into that situation, or for that door to open. But if God doesn't want it, He does not want it.
Exactly.
And that's just something that you have to come to terms with. And
and you can't always get stuck in that self-pity and that condemnation, thinking that you're not worthy, you're not worth it. Because Christ has literally set you free. We are, if you're born again, like you've been made new in Christ. He's washed away every, like, as long as you've repented and you've turned around, He's washed all of that. He doesn't remember anything that you've done. Bless you.
Thank you.
He doesn't remember your past mistakes, your traumas. It's only yourself that brings it back, because you think, well, the enemy tries to distract us, but you are made new in Christ, and that's what matters. Keep going forward, keep pursuing Him. Like, if you lose hope, the only person that can really help you is yourself. Because if you are stuck in that cycle of self-pity, then
you really have to,
nothing anyone can say is gonna help you.
Pull yourself out of the rut.
And
just like, it's the beginning of the year, especially guys. Like, if you feel yourself like slipping, if you feel yourself falling into that kind of depression or that like hole of self-pity, and I'm not saying depression is self-pity, I know that there's a big difference, but if you see yourself falling back into a place that is dark and lonely, pull yourself out of it, because you have so much to give, so much for the Lord to use. And that's what I love about being born again, is that I have that reassurance. The fact that I know Jesus makes me feel confident knowing that somebody's got me when I don't have myself, and the world consumes me, like all these emotions.
He's your Father. He's going to
God's got you. And just like trust, literally trust in God. He's got you and He's fighting for you. I always say, like, that's what I say when I pray. It's like, Lord, fight for me. Like, I can only do so much, but fight for me. This is what I want. If it's not from you, it's okay. But if this is from you, fight for me and take control over it. Like, you know. So
and also something that's so important is to surround yourself with like people that are able to guide you, that are able to uplift you when you are like at your lowest. One thing I'm so grateful for is like my family and like you and your mom, like they, and like Chrissy as well, like surround yourself with people that are able to tell you, you know what, okay, you're going through this, but here's how we get out of it. Because I mean, without them, I think I would have like literally lost my mind. Like,
God doesn't want you to be alone.
Yes, He doesn't want you to go through things alone.
To like learn to do this year is to live without Trinity for a little bit, but like He doesn't want you to be alone. Like, He has made you either to be encouraged by others and to, not either, both, to be encouraged by others and to encourage those around you. So don't isolate yourself and think that you're on this journey on your own, because it takes a village.
It does. It really does.
Like, you know, And yeah, it's just
they will really uplift you. I mean, like, my family has been such a major support to me. I mean, at times when I feel like my whole world is ending, like my parents would come and like encourage me and be like, you know what, don't look at it this way. But you know, it's always and you know, at the time you think those words don't help you. You think that oh my gosh, they're just saying this just to make me feel better. But subconsciously, it gives you that hope. It gives you that assurance to know that God's got you. God's got you, and all you have to do is be still and trust in Him.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, and remember that in Romans it says all things work together for the good of those who love Him and are called by Him. And I truly believe that if you really love God, and if you really love His word and love His kingdom, everything will work out for your good. No matter which way. It may not go your way, but it will work out for your good.
And yeah, a lot is changing. Like, you know, it's a season, but sometimes
we're getting older. Cameron's turned 21.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I wouldn't want to talk about it.
No. We're growing.
It's exciting, but like, you know, sometimes change is necessary to get you out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
that's
we're all about getting out of our comfort zone.
You must never be too comfortable. Yes, you must be content with what the Lord has blessed you with, and at a constant state of gratitude, but you must never be too comfortable, because the Lord wants more. He's a God of much more, of exceedingly and abundantly. So sometimes things are going to happen that aren't necessarily great. Like, you know, they might be sad, or you might be like change in the sense that you might be mourning a loss, or you might be, you know, grieving, or you might be going through something really hard, and it might not be an exciting new chapter for you.
It might be.
It's necessary for God to do something more through you, because you are so much more. You're worth so much more, and He's going to use you in such a huge way. So just trust that, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to work out for His good, like, you know.
My grandfather always says, like, if you don't change, change will change you. And like, it's so important, because if you are in a place in your life and you know there's like stagnant areas, God will force those changes to happen in your life so that you can better yourself, and it's literally always for your good. That's all I can say. But I mean, I hope you guys have been encouraged and blessed by this. Lots of changes going to be happening tea time as well, but we'll keep you guys updated on our socials. You know,
Chin and I, we're not always going to be together, but we still have a lot of ambition and goals for tea time. And you know, it's going to be exciting, and we're going to film when we can. And that's what we can give you right now.
But we really hope that you've been encouraged. If you're going through big changes, small changes, whatever it is, take these words, use them, help them. It's helped us. It's helped us get to this point that we are at now. It wasn't easy at the beginning. It takes time to trust in God, but the benefits are so rewarding.
So like, the change may be uncertain, but Christ is constant. That's all you gotta know.
When plans fail, God prevails. And that's all I can leave you with.
And you know, we're ready for all the, you know, the cliches and the slogans for the year, but we hope you're with us.
Let us know in the comments how you guys are doing. If there's any videos or topics you want us to speak about, let us know. Keep us encouraged as well. It's always so nice interacting with everyone. Make sure to follow us on our socials, Instagram, on TikTok, and we just love serving the Lord and love doing this. It's such a blessing. It is, and it's just so fulfilling.
It does. I feel like so overwhelmed with joy to be able to do this.
It's been so peaceful, so serene, but we love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We hope that this year we grow even more. Through all the changes, we're gonna grow, and it's gonna be in God's grace.
Great.
So have a good week ahead. We love you guys.
Bye.